Pray everyone has had a week that was a shar, or what the world calls blessed. Um, Again, thank y'all for taking the time out, to come into the living room. We're gonna open up, and we're gonna open up with the sound of the trumpet. All praises. All praises. All praises. All praises.
All praises, all praises, all praises.
All praises. But today, again in the living room, I'm just gonna discuss a little bit about purpose today. Um, one of these, one of the things that have been heavy upon my heart, for a long time actually, for a while, I guess, ever since um, Most High's awakened us. Well, I'm not gonna say from the beginning, but I would say maybe a couple years in, a few years in, the Most High awakening us. 'Cause that was was that late summer maybe of 2016. So a couple of years in from that, just hearing Bruce, question, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? What is my purpose? Now I know, back in the day, in being in Christianity, I know that came up a lot, and they had that book by what's his name, Rick Warren, The Purpose Driven Life, which was like this huge bestseller or whatever. But I guess now, for some reason, you know, people are still asking. Well, I'm not gonna say people. Yashara'al is still asking. What is my purpose? What is my purpose? Not even what is the purpose of Yashara'al, but individually, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? And you know, our purpose as Yashara'al is written in the book. However, I believe, as we always say, a lot of our people still have the tapes playing in their head of, from Christianity and from this, this construct, and everything is individualized. You have to make them, you as an individual have to make a mark on, on life, or leave some type of legacy, or whatever the case may be. And we see that in their different award shows, and the Hall of Fames, and this, that, or whatever, such and such. And but as I know was discussed in, I think, a Bible study a couple of weeks ago, we as Yashara'al, we are a commonwealth. Most High looks at us as a nation, right? Yes, we are made up of individuals, of course, and the Most High uses individuals. We see that in the text. He uses individuals. However, but it's all for the benefit of the actual nation itself and for the kingdom. So we can't look at ourselves and think that our lives are our own, and we're just individuals walking in this life for an individual purpose. You know what I mean? We are all, let's put it this way: we have different parts of our body, right? Different parts of our body, but these different parts make up one whole body, and look to benefit the body in some way, shape, or form. So that's what we are. We're different parts, of a machine, or whatever. If for lack of a better statement, whatever. Different parts of the machine, doing things for the benefit of that one machine, if you will. So we're different parts of the body doing things for the benefit of the nation to glorify the Most High. So I just wanted to talk a little bit today about, that whole thing with you know, still asking, what is my purpose? And again, remember that we're in the living room. You know, we're in the living room. Just the discussion. Not saying anything's right or anything's wrong or whatever the case may be. We just sitting here chopping it up, talking, rapping the taste, if you will. So again, just interactive. If there's anything, any insight, whatever the case may be, any edification, words of edification, please, by all means, chime in. But I'm gonna. So let me close this out real quick. Put this here. So I had, because I know this has been heavy on my heart for a while, for a long while. Here it is. I was taking some notes and things of that nature, and kind of Googling a little bit, some books, some just looking into things. So just wrote some things down. Just want to discuss those for a little bit. So purpose. People asking what is their purpose, right? And what is meant by purpose. And just looking this up, what is meant by purpose is something set up as an object or an end to be attained, some intention, resolution, determination. Some synonyms are what? An aim, ambition, an end, a goal, an intent, intention, a meaning, an objective, a plan, or a target, right? I found this interesting right here. So philosophers like this guy, this is Viktor Frankl, right? He argued that the search for meaning is a primary human drive, right? Which we know. And then he says in his book, Man's Search for Meaning, Frankl observed that people could endure extreme suffering. Think now, really allow on this, listen to what this is saying. In his book, right, he observed that people could endure extreme suffering if they found meaning in it. Think about that for a second. He observed that people could endure extreme suffering if they found meaning in it. As soon as I read that, I thought about Yashara'al, right? I thought about Yashara'al. Now, his purpose was given to him, his trajectory was given to him from the beginning, from the Most High, right? He knew, what it is he had to do, right? From early, he knew exactly what it is he had to do. And even though when it came close to it, he was in anguish and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, he said, not my will, but yours will, your will be done. But he was willing to suffer. And I know that text says in Hebrews, Yahweh learned obedience by the things he suffered. But he was willing to suffer. He's willing to suffer because, he knew the purpose, right? He found the meaning in that, in what it is that is doing in that suffering. And I believe if, we as bruised, this is why I played that song, right? Being desperate for the Most High. We had mentioned that a few weeks ago, is the Most High enough? Is the Most High enough? And again, that was a question that a friend of ours from back in the day used to pose to us all the time, almost weekly, right? He would pose to us, is the Most High enough? And it's crazy how that question from way back over 20, now I think it's like 20 years now, since knowing him, 20 years, that question still has relevance, and it still pops up, because is the Most High enough? Because if the Most High is enough, and we as bruised, a lot of us, we know that we're in that word now. We're meditating, and we're researching and and being Bereans, just like Bereans, they search the scriptures to make sure what Paul was saying was on point. We are in these scriptures, you know what I mean, and learning. So if we're in these scriptures and meditating in these scriptures, then we would know what the Most High's purpose is for us, right? Um, I had something on my mind, but I'll let that fly. So, the Most High just has to be enough, because if He's not enough, then that's when you have where it says in the text, you know, people will no longer endure sound doctrine, right? And I kind of had that written down, that desire for some type of fulfillment, people feel most alive and satisfied when they contribute to something meaningful, whether it's nurturing relationships, creating art, helping others, or building communities. Without purpose, people may feel lost, restless, or unfulfilled, right? Without purpose, people may feel lost, restless, or unfulfilled. And then, sometimes those trying to kind of prove themselves or prove something usually tend to lose themselves trying to find themselves, and then fall into a state of isolation and a spirit of heaviness. I don't like to call it depression. I'm going to call it what it is. It's a spirit of heaviness, right? So again, sometimes those trying to prove themselves or prove something usually tend to lose themselves trying to find themselves, and then fall into a state of isolation and a spirit of heaviness. Now, again, I speak on this because, you know, one thing the Most High has told me is, before I can share anything with anybody else, that word is first for me. It's first. It's first for me. So, you know, I've I've been here. I've been here. You understand what I'm saying? What is my purpose? This now whatever. Now I'm not going to say that I was asking that. Once the Most High woke us up, but I've been here asking, what is my purpose? Is my life, contributing? Am I contributing to life? Am I contributing? Does it have meaning, or whatever the case may be? And again, like I said, if we're not satisfied with what the Most High is telling us, you're going to start, going down the rabbit hole and searching things or doing things and researching things that we have no business, because it's not everything we're supposed to be researching or speaking about. You have something, Chris?
No, I was with you, man. Like you say, is the Most High enough? Because when He's not, you notice people adding to and taking away from the Scripture, adding holidays, adding things outside of His will. So that's a key question: is the Most High enough? Because we see examples when people feel like He's not, and they add to the text.
Exactly right. You know what I mean? And then, the other text says, the time will come when they will no longer endure sound doctrine, right? So now you start going outside of the scripts and, dipping and dabbing in other things, trying to find some type of meaning and trying to find some type of purpose. Because think about this. And like I said, I've been here. I've been here. So I'm not just talking out of the side of my neck. I've been here. I've spoken with other people that have been in this position, or whatever the case may be. I lost my train of thought. But anyway, it's important, because again, when you start dipping and dabbing in other things, you start messing with the occult, you start messing with all of these things, trying to find some meaning. Oh, that's what I was going to say. And you start justifying those wrongdoings, right? You start justifying those wrongdoings, and yes, the Most High can speak to us, but Hasatan will speak to you too. You know what I mean? Hasatan will speak to you. Then you start justifying, that particular voice, and moving in a direction and trying to find your life. And what the Mashiach said was that, I'm gonna quote it exactly. Yep.
He'll find his
Was that
own.
Matthew 10?
Yeah.
Yep, Matthew 10, 38, 39. Matthew 10, 38 said, and whoever does not take his, I'll say, burden and follow me is not worthy of me. Verse 39, whoever finds his life will lose it. And whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. And it's echoed in the Matthew 16, 24 and 25. It says, then Yahushua told his disciples, if anyone will come after me, let him deny himself, let him deny himself. Can't say that enough. Let him deny himself and take up his burden or his burden and follow me. For whoever would save his life will lose it. But whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. And you know, and that's where you have again those who will who are seeking some type of stamp in, you know, in this construct, in this life, you know, because they feel, think about this, because I've had somebody speak to me on this, because, you know, some people feel because they're not in the forefront, or they're not, you know, or they're not speaking, or they're not, or they don't have a voice to sing, or a psalmist, or whatever the case may be, or, you know, they just feel like they're not making a difference if they're not doing something to be, you know, I guess recognized, or whatever the case, or if they're not doing something, not necessarily being recognized, but just not doing something. They feel, you know, stagnant, or whatever the case may be. You know, then they feel like, you know, their life has no meaning and this and that, whatever. But who told you that? Who told you that? You know, you know, speaking from last week, you know, we were born into darkness, right? We are basically, just talked about this yesterday with my son Yadon and Marsha. We are dealing with the consequences of our forefathers' choices, basically, right? We know the Most High told us, you know, in Deuteronomy 28, told us in Leviticus 26, those things, what would happen if we didn't, you know, keep to those law, statutes, commandments, and walk in obedience with him, right? So again, he didn't put any curses on us. He spoke to us and told us, you know, what would happen if you didn't obey him, right? And those things happened. We didn't obey him, and you basically, you know, fell into those curses, right? You are basically living out consequence of the disobedience, right? And so with that, you know, the nations are now on top of us and we're on the bottom, and every perspective that we have now is based on their perspective. You see what I'm saying? And we know the House of Tom right now is influencing everything. So this is what we have. Everything that we've come to know, everything that we've been indoctrinated with, you know, whatever the case may be, is from that perspective. Is not from a righteous perspective. It's from that perspective. And you know, and so in this world, we're told that, you know, we have to be doing this and we have to be doing that. In order for your life to mean anything, you have to be doing X, Y, and Z. And that's not the case, right? The Most High told us as Yashara'al, and again, remember, this is not for everybody, because the Most High wasn't speaking to everybody. We got to get that, you know, squared away. He was not speaking to everyone, right? You know, in Amos, he said, you to Yashara'al, you only have I known out of all of the families, or out of all the nations on the earth. It says, you only have I known, right? And in Psalm 147, 19 and 20, you know, he gave his law, statutes, commandments only unto Yashara'al, right? And the other nations, he has not known them. They have not known those law, statutes, commandments. So it's only that's this nation that he's spoken to, right? And is this nation that he has already given purpose to from the beginning. And we're going to go into that from the beginning. So if there's anybody we need to find, and it's not like he was lost or whatever the case may be, it's just setting ourselves in the Most High and keeping ourselves there. Right? Just remembering that testimony in the Gospels with Mashiach, was it Mary and Martha, right? I think it was Martha who was, busy in the house, just busy doing X, Y, and Z, da 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 da. But I think, Mashiach told, and she went and said to Yahushua, yo, tell Mary to come help me, this and that, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And he says to her, you know what? She has chosen what is right, to sit at my feet. She's chosen what is right, to sit at my feet. Again, we're living out, things that we have been indoctrinated with. And so it's the world that tells you, you have to be doing this and you have to be doing that in order for your life to mean something. Again, they're the ones that have set up the Hall of Fames and all these award shows and all of these things to everything has to be, a pat on the back. Anything to be recognized. Anything can be recognized. But, think about this. It just came to my mind. Think about this. Most I was dealing with a nation of people, Yashara'al, right? And yes, we have books and chapters with people's names on this and that, whatever. But just because, names weren't mentioned in the text, you don't think those people had relevance? You don't think that their lives didn't mean anything? He was dealing with the entire nation. You know what I mean? He was dealing with an entire nation. Their lives matter too. Just because they're not written, in the text or whatever the case may be, doesn't mean that their lives had no meaning. Okay, you could be doing the most minor thing in pleasing the Most High. The most minor thing, but let's continue on.
Yeah, you mentioned the body earlier. You mentioned the body earlier. It's true. The head can't look at the toe and say, I ain't got no need for you.
That's it. Everything has everything. The most, I don't know, overlooked body part has a purpose, right? Like,
If a toe is amputated,
you lose balance. Yeah, exactly right. If the toe gets amputated, like Marsha said, you lose some type of balance. I mean, I think about like back in the day, we talked about losing a spleen or whatever the case may be. But I forgot they said the spleen. I forgot.
your immune system, it has all the things that you need for your immune system and the blood cells.
You see what I'm saying?
So
So here, a body part not even thought about, your spleen, has things to do with your immune system, right? And that was one of the things. My daughter, not to put her out there, or whatever. She had an accident and she had to have hers removed because it had ruptured, in the accident and the whole 9 yards, and that was one of the concerns. Her immune system. You know what I mean? She has to, keep herself correct because her immune system is now compromised because she no longer has a spleen. So here it is, a body part not even thought about, but has, great significance. You see what I'm saying? And this is what it is with Yashara'al. You know what I mean? Again, he deals with us as a nation. Each one of us, as long as we stay rooted and grounded into the Most High, there is a place for you. There is a significance for you. There's a significant spot or a significant thing that you need to do. The Most High has already purposed your life, right? And he didn't say, there was one thing that was on my mind and I can't remember what it was. So think about this. He didn't think about Abraham. Let's take Abraham for instance, right? Growing up in the land of Shinar and Babylon or whatever, his dad is in the house of Nimrod and all of this stuff, this and that. The Most High had, planned his life out such and such. And, Abraham didn't know, what was going to happen from day to day or from month to month or from year to year, this, that, whatever. The Most High told him, to leave all that nonsense, leave all that paganism, right? Leave your household, you leave your family, your father's house, and all this stuff. And when he was able to hear the voice of the Most High, all right, and told him to just go, leave, leave everything, right? He didn't know, again, he didn't know from day to day what was going to happen. Joseph didn't know from day to day what was going to happen. Moses didn't know from day to day what was going to happen. And I think, with us asking what is our purpose, we're trying to map out our lives, because this is basically what we've kind of been, taught in this construct, that you got to map your life out. You know what I mean? You gotta, have a plan and this and that, whatever. I'm not saying, go about, everything willy nilly, this and that, whatever. But when it comes to this right here, the Most High already has a plan for our life. That's why the text tells you, Proverbs, trust in the Most High with all of your heart. And it says what? Do not lean upon your own understanding. Okay? Do not lean upon your own understanding, but in all, not in some, but in all of your ways, acknowledge who? Him. And he shall direct your path. In everything, in every single thing, acknowledge him. So if we are to ask the Most High anything, Josh read from Psalm, was that 86, 11 to 12, I believe, last week, which is a song that, the Most High allowed me to put together, and says, teach me thy ways, O Yah, and I will walk in your truth. Unite my heart to fear your name. Okay? If that we're going to pray anything and asking the Most High anything, that's what we should be praying. Asking him to unite our hearts, align our hearts with his, right? Trusting in him with all of our heart, so that we're not leaning upon our own understanding, so that we're not trying to find and navigate our own way in this construct. Because I'm telling you, that can be destructive. That can be destructive. And you start going, I'm telling you, going down all these paths that the Most High did not intend for you to go down. You start, now listening to the wrong voice. You know what I mean? Because, Mashiach don't want us to get closer to the Most High. He wants us to veer off the path. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Hasatan. Excuse me. Hasatan doesn't want us to get closer to the Most High. He wants us to veer off the path. Right? He wants us to follow the wide and broad way where everybody is following. Right? But we are supposed to be a set apart people, following the set apart righteousness of the Most High, which is not going to look like everyday life and every day of this construct. It's not going to look like that. That's why, people look at you, if you're doing what is right in the sight of the Most High, that's why, people looking at you strange. That's why, your family may not, treat you the way they used to treat you. Your friends may not treat you the way you used to treat you. You may not get invited to this, that, and whatever. And that's a good thing. But we tend to look at it as a bad thing. No, it's a good thing, because you want to be doing what's right in the sight of the Most High. We're not supposed to be trying to please, family members and this person. That's where our goal is to please the Most High. Our purpose is in Him, and that's where we should be. So we really have to be careful when it comes down to that, and really shake off, the things of the world, and shake off, I know, man, Danny always says, man, get those tapes in our head, from playing, because my Hasatan is very subtle. He's very subtle, and if you allow these things to keep playing out in the whole 9 yards, if you could miss it, and again, then you start falling into isolation and a depressive state, and seeking things that were never that you're not supposed to be seeking. Chris, I saw you come off the mic. You have something?
Oh man, yeah, no, I'm with you. I think you hit it on the head. Even when you brought up Abraham, that resonated with me, because he didn't tell him what he had for him exactly. He just told him get up and go, and he had to have the faith to know he was following the will of the Most High. You know, Because you might not always know, but you know you good as long as the Most High guiding you. So you
And
know, because
and that's exactly it.
all them verses say only he who does the will of my Father, which is your purpose. You know what I mean?
That's it. That is your purpose, doing the will of the Most High. That is it. Again, this is not an individual thing. I don't think there's no Hall of Fame, in the kingdom, man. There's no Hall of Fame. We talked about hierarchies and this and that, whatever, such and such, but it's not, not because this person did this person did that is better than this person, this and that, whatever. No, the end goal is just to get into the kingdom. And look, even Malak Dawad, King David, what did he say? I'd rather be a doorkeeper. I'd rather be a doorkeeper. I'm not seeking no preeminence when it comes to the Most High. I'm not seeking any of that. I will sit there and open doors for y'all in the kingdom. It's just as long as I'm there. Right? So if this is Malak Dawah saying this, King Dawah, or King David saying this, and remember he's the king over Judah. He's saying this, where should we be? The first thing again, we bring up Second Chronicles was that 7:14, and if my people are called by my name, shall what? Humble themselves. First thing he says is humble themselves. Humble themselves. You know what I mean? Leviticus 26:41, he says, if they were to acknowledge the consequences of their iniquity, understand that we are in the place, not necessarily because we put ourselves there, but, it was the word of the Most High that, these curses would be upon, them and as well as our, the generations after. He is not a man that he should lie, nor the son of man to repent. So his word had to come into fruition. So again, we're just living out the consequences of our, our forefathers' choices. It is what it is. I'm not gonna speak bad about the Most High and question him and this and that and like Abadag, did it have to go down like this, and that? It is what it is. Okay, but the beautiful thing about it is he said that he will never leave us nor forsake us, and in his word he also says that he will, save us out of this, right? Salvation is us being saved from our enemies, right? And then, being passed under the rod and in the kingdom being set up, with the 12 gates, with the names of the 12 tribes of Yashara'al. So again, even though we're in this mix, the game is fixed. The game is fixed. We still come out on top. We have the greatest hope of all mankind, right? We have Mashiach is our first fruits. You know what I mean? So even if we, leave this earth, right? We don't necessarily, stop existing. Like we have the hope to rise again. Like we have the hope to see loved ones again that have gone on before us in the whole 9 yards. There, we have a great hope. The other nation doesn't have this, but we have it. So there's things, that we, have, we have a beautiful future to look forward to, but we have to stay rooted and grounded in the Most High. We can't go off on a tangent, when, we think things are stagnant or whatever the case may be, or things are not going how we have perceived them to go, because I know I'm big on that, when things are not looking how I think they should look, next thing you know, I'm in a funk, so we can't do that. We can't keep doing that. We can't keep putting ourselves in the spirit of heaviness. We have to put on that garment of praise, just like the text says. So what does the Most High require of us? Again, our purpose is written in the text. It's written in the text. What does he require of us? Deuteronomy 10, 12 through 16. And of course, my Torah and Tanakh, is of course coming from the Septuagint, and so-called New Testament is also coming from the ESV. But what does Yah require of us? Again, it's written in the text. Deuteronomy chapter 10, verses 12 through 16 says, "And now, Yashara'al, what does Yah, your Elohim, or your power require of you? Okay, but to fear Yah, your Elohim, and to walk in all his ways, to love him, to serve Yah, your Elohim, with all your heart, with all your soul, to keep the commandments of Yah, your Elohim, and his ordinances, all that I charge you today," because this is Moses speaking, "all that I charge you today, that it may be well with you. Behold, the heaven and the heaven of heavens belong to Yah, your power, your Elohim, the earth and all things that are in it." Verse 15, "Only Yah chose your fathers to love them, and he chose out their seed after them, even you beyond all nations, as at this day. Therefore you shall circumcise the hardness of your heart, and you shall not harden your neck." Right? Micah, book of Micah. Again, also answering the question, what does Yah require of us? Book of Micah, chapter 6, verses 6 through 8. This is Micah chapter 6, verses 6 through 8, Septuagint. "Wherewithal shall I reach Yah, and lay hold of my Elohim, or my power most high?" Now listen to what this is saying. So where shall I reach Yah and lay hold of my Elohim, my power, the most high? "Shall I reach him by whole burnt offerings, by calves of a year old? Will Yah accept thousands of rams, or 10,000s of fat goats? Should I give my firstborn for ungodliness, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul? Has it not been told you, O man, what is good? Or what does Yah require of you? But to do justice and love mercy, and be ready to walk with Yah, your power." So I like this because it says, how shall I reach Yah? Like, how shall I please him? Shall I, sacrifice and give him burnt offerings? Should I do this? Should I do that? This and that, whatever. And then it says, has it not been told you? Like, you've been told already. What is good? What does Yah require of you? Do justice, right? When it says do justice, basically, doing what the Most High told you to do. Walking in the law, statutes, and commandments, right? Love mercy, be compassionate, right? And be ready to walk with Yah, your power. It's not about doing X, Y, and Z. It's not about, being validated or whatever the case may be. We don't need any we don't need a pat on the back from nobody. From nobody. The Most High has, validated us from the beginning. Your names are already written in the book of life. But by your disobedience and walking away from Yah, can your name be blotted out? The name was written in the book of life already from the beginning. But we can do things to blot our name out. So again, we got to ask the question, if we're, here and we're still asking, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? What is my purpose? What is that saying to the Most High? When he's, breathed, unto these dry bones, when he's, awakened you, right? And he opened your eyes to I should say, remove the scales from your eyes to now, see the text for what it is, to receive the Ruach Kodash, to receive the Spirit. Because again, remember, a lot of us were in Christianity, this and that, whatever, reading this same Bible, reading these same words, and we had a whole different take on it. Because you read that scripture again in Isaiah, where it talks about, he put blinders on us. He put blinders on us. But now the scales, he awakened us, he breathed upon us, he removed the scales from our eyes. So now, to show us and reveal to us what he's really saying to his people, what he's really saying to us, what it is we really need to do, right? Giving you your purpose. And it's not enough. So you ask, well, what is my purpose? Because still trying to find a foothold in this life, in this construct. Still trying to find yourself. And again, we just read, Mashiach said, those who find their life are going to lose it. If you just okay with this construct and what it is you're doing right now, you know what? I got my good job and you know what I mean? And I'm making my way and this, that, whatever, and everything is good and everything is lovely and everything's hunky dory, this, now, whatever. Because again, there's some of us that feel that, we are not in captivity. That we good. And that may be the case. You may have a good job. You may have, certain things in order in the whole 9 yards. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't. Okay? I'm not saying that you shouldn't. If that is the case, it is beautiful. However, if you're finding your identity in that, then that's where the problem lies.
What's coming to my mind through this all is Ecclesiastes 12, that old chapter.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that.
Yeah,
we're gonna get into that. You got something?
Yeah, my prayer a lot is Psalm 119, 133.
Psalm 119, 133.
Yeah, that's my prayer.
Psalm 119,
133.
133.
Okay.
That's where our mind should be.
Psalm 119. Let me read it from there. You know me, Septuagint, brother.
Yeah,
borrow
I need
that,
that.
right? So 119 and 133 in the Septuagint is Psalm 118. Verse 133. Yes. Psalm 119, 133. Order my steps according to your word. Okay, speaking to the Most High. Order my steps according to your word, and let not any iniquity. Yeah, you do say this a lot. And let not any iniquity have dominion over me.
I need to start praying that. So powerful.
Order my steps according to your word. Again, goes back to what we were speaking about earlier. Trusting in the Most High with all of with all of our heart, not leaning upon our own understanding, but in all of our ways acknowledging Him, so that He can show us the path that He has directed for us, not the path that we're trying to lay out. Just as that prayer says, right, on earth as in the Shemayim. These things have happened in the Shemayim already, so wouldn't He know better what is before us? Right. So shouldn't we be asking Him, and trusting in Him to show us the path that we need to take? We don't need to know everything that's going to be played out, because you know what? We would put our hands in the cookie jar and mess stuff up. Because again, even as individuals, the way the Most High has your life is being played out to benefit the body as a whole. The way the Most High has your life being played out is to, individually, is to benefit the body as a whole and to glorify the Most High. That's how we got to think about this thing. Danny said a few weeks ago, we are that commonwealth. We should be, holding each other down, right? Holding each other accountable, being there for one another, you know what I mean? In every way, shape, or form. But coming up in this construct, in Christianity, everything is individualized. Every single thing is individualized. And that's not how it was intended to be. So, again, being awake and seeking after the Most High, we have to align ourselves with Him, His purpose, man. Our purpose is in Him. Our purpose is in Him. We're gonna get to that. And that Micah script reminds me of you know, this other foundational script, 1 Samuel 15:22. Right, 1 Samuel 15:22. Samuel said, "Does Yah take pleasure in whole burnt offerings and sacrifices, as in hearing the words of Yah? Behold, obedience is better than a good sacrifice, and hearkening than the fat of rams." Right? It's not about doing X, Y. It's just about being obedient to the Most High. Again, Des just mentioned Ecclesiastes 12, right? I think it's 13 and 14, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Hear the end of the matter, fearing the Most High, keeping His commandments. You know what I'm saying? Keep His commandments, for this is. I like the way the Septuagint reads, right? Hear the end of the matter, the Son. Fear the Most High, keep His commandments, for this is the whole man. I love how the Septuagint, phrases it. For this is the whole man. That is you, Yashara'al. That is you. To fear the Most High and keep His commandments is the whole man. Not just your duty, but it is you. For the Most High will bring every work into judgment with everything that has been overlooked, whether it be good or whether it be evil. Our identity, our purpose is in Yah. It always has been. Ain't nothing changed. Nothing has changed. Only thing is, again, we were born into darkness, if you will. We were born into darkness. We were born into this construct, into captivity. We were born into it, so we didn't know anything. We were born having scales on our eyes, so we didn't know anything. So all you can do is, again, what does one of the curses say in Deuteronomy? It says that you will go to the nations for want of all things.
Also,
Right?
curse is we be groping in
You gotta
darkness.
speak
Another,
up.
another curse is we be groping in darkness, trying to find our way in darkness, groping.
Right. We'll be groping. We'll be in darkness, groping, trying to find our way in everything. Right? But
As if it was dark.
right, groping in midday, as if it was completely dark outside. Feeling your way around. But again, everything, every want, every this now whatever you're getting from the nations. Your education, your even how you live,
Our housing, everything.
right? Everything, every single thing, right? Assimilating to their way of life, right? Their what it is they find beautiful. This is why we know a lot of our people grow up hating how they look, hating how dark you are, or hating your the texture of your hair, or hating the fullness of your lips, right? Hating the broadness of your nose, or whatever the case may be, and hating your people because you've been taught what is beautiful, or what is this, or what is that from their perspective.
And meanwhile, we remain in Yah's image.
Like Marsha said, I don't know if y'all can hear her. She said, meanwhile, he told the other Mala'ak and the other watchers around him, let us make man in our own image. We're made in His image. Think about that. So our purpose, our everything, our all in all is in the Most High. Okay? We don't need any validation from man. You don't need any validation from this construct. You don't need any validation. We're not trying to, stamp our place in this construct. We're not trying to do that. We're not. I put this thing. The Most High has chosen and sanctified us as his people from the beginning and called us to obedience. And think about this, right? And we're going to read this passage real quick. The Most High has chosen us and sanctified us as a people from the beginning and called us to obedience along with the Mala'ach, along with the angels. Okay? You know, call us to obedience starting with Shabbat. I was reading this the other day. I was like, oh, wow. But he chose us and sanctified us as his people from the beginning and called us to obedience along with the angels, starting with the Shabbat. Jubilees, you have Jubilees, Book of Jubilees, chapter 2. And this is beautiful right here. Book of Jubilees, chapter 2. 1 second here. And again, my Jubilees may read a little bit different than the red book. And it's Jubilees chapter 2. We're gonna skip around a little bit from verse 17 to 21, then verse 24, and then 30 to 33. So Jubilees chapter 2, starting at verse 17 through 21. Jubilees chapter 2, verse 17. 17 to 21. And it reads, and he gave us a great sign, the Shabbat day. And this is, of course, creation. This is from the beginning. And he gave us a great sign, the Shabbat day, that we should work 6 days, but keep Shabbat on the seventh day from all work. Verse 18, and all the angels of the presence and all the angels of sanctification, these two great classes, he has hidden us. I'm sorry, it says bidden? Yeah. Oh, mine says hidden. He has bidden us to keep the Shabbat with him in heaven and on earth. Okay? And he has bidden us to keep the Shabbat with him in heaven and on earth. Verse 19. And he said unto us, behold, I will separate unto myself a people from among all the peoples, and these will keep the Shabbat day, and I will sanctify them unto myself as my people, and will barak them, or bless. I will barak them, as I have sanctified the Shabbat day, and do sanctify it unto myself. Even so shall I barak them, and they will be my people, and I shall be their power, their Elohim. Verse 20. And I have chosen the seed of Yaquab, I have chosen the seed of Jacob from among all that I have seen, and have written him down as my firstborn son. And I have sanctified him unto myself forever and ever. And I will teach them the Shabbat day, that they may keep Shabbat thereon from all work. Verse 21, and thus he created therein a sign in accordance with which they should keep Shabbat with us, okay, with the heavenly host, y'all, with us on the seventh day, to eat and to drink, and to barak him who has created all things, as he has blessed and sanctified unto himself a peculiar people above all peoples, and that they should keep Shabbat together with us. Now let's skip down to verse 24. Verse 24, he says, and to this Jacob and his seed it was granted that they should always be the blessed, or the ashar, or happy and holy ones of the first testimony and law, even as he had sanctified and blessed the Shabbat day on the seventh day. Okay, skip to verse 30. And we're going from the end of verse 30. Well, I'll just read it. And they shall not bring in or take out from house to house on that day, for that day is more holy and blessed than any Jubilee day of the Jubilees. And this is where I want to get right here, the end of 30. On this we kept Shabbat in the heavens before it was made known to any flesh to keep Shabbat thereon on the earth. All right. Verse 31, and the creator of all things blessed it, but he did not sanctify all peoples and nations to keep Shabbat thereon. So it ain't everybody that's supposed to be keeping Shabbat, right? He didn't set it apart for everybody. He didn't set it apart for all of the world, right? Verse 31. Creator of all things blessed it, but he did not sanctify all peoples and nations to keep Shabbat thereon, but Yashara'al alone. Them alone he permitted to eat and drink and to keep Shabbat thereon on the earth. And the creator of all things blessed this day, which he had created for a blessing and a sanctification and a glory above all days. 33. This law and testimony was given to the children of Yashara'al as a law forever unto their generation. So from the beginning, the Most High has, again, like I said, Most High has chosen and sanctified us as his people from the beginning, called us to obedience along with the Mala'ak, along with the angels, right? Along with the Mala'akim, starting with Shabbat. He called us. All praises. Go to Jubilees 15. Jubilees 15. What did I put? Jubilees 15, verses 27 to 32. Again, our purpose is in him. Our purpose is found in him from the jump, from the very beginning. Jubilees 15, starting at verse 27. For all the Mala'akim, for all the angels of the presence, and all the angels of sanctification have been so created from the day of their creation. And before the angels of the presence and the angels of sanctification, he has sanctified Yashara'al. Y'all hear what that said? And before the angels of the presence and the angels of sanctification, he has sanctified Yashara'al, that they should be with him and with his holy angels. You see how significant you are? You see that? Verse 28. And do you command the children of Yashara'al and let them observe the sign of this covenant for their generations as an eternal ordinance, and they will not be rooted out of the land. For the command is ordained for a covenant, that they should observe it forever among all the children of Yashara'al. For Ishmael and his sons and his brothers and Esau, Yah did not cause to approach him. And he chose them not, because they are the children of Abraham, because he knew them, but he chose Yashara'al to be his people. And he sanctified it and gathered it from among all the children of men, for there are many nations and many peoples, and all are his, and over all has he placed spirits in authority to lead them astray from him. Right? And this is why, again, you got to be careful of entertaining other things, of getting in your own mind and getting in your own thoughts, and trying to find a foothold and trying to find a place in this life, and and not taking heed to the word of the Most High, and not finding solace in him, right? And him not being enough, because again, there are other spirits, right? And look at what it says. And of all he has placed spirits in authority to lead them astray from him. That's why we got to be careful, because there's spirits out there to lead us, if we're not careful, to lead us astray from the Most High. Verse 32. But over Yashara'al he did not appoint any angel or spirit, for he alone is their ruler. And he will preserve them and require them at the hand of his angels and his spirits, and at the hand of all his powers, in order that he may preserve them and barak them, and that they may be his and he may be theirs from now on and forever. The Most High got you. You know how, used to say back in the day, yo, I got you, boo. I got you, boo. That's what the Most High is telling us. Yo, I got you, boo. I got you. So what is the purpose of Yashara'al? What did he choose to sanctify us for? Again, for obedience, for our obedience, but also Most High chose and sanctified us to establish righteousness, his righteousness, because he is right. He's the righteous one. He chose us and sanctified us to establish his righteousness in the earth. Right? That's what it's about. We're supposed to be, you know, meditating in his word. We're supposed to be with him and seeking first the kingdom of the Most High and his righteousness, so that we can establish, righteousness in the earth, right? I know Danny always says that you be that, I know the text is, you be that letter written, right? You be that quote unquote Bible, that people see. You be that. You be that example to Yashara'al, to our brethren, to those who are not awakened yet, as well as those righteous strangers that might see and cleave unto the Most High and glorify Him. Okay, that is your part. That is your part. No matter where you are, whether you be at home amongst your family, whether you be out and about in the stores or whatever the case may be, your life needs to be set apart. Because again, in the so-called New Testament, I can't remember exactly where, it says, always be ready to have an answer for the hope that is in you, which means there are going to be those that see that light. If you are living right, they're going to see that light. They're going to feel it. They're going to feel it. They're going to see it. Because we live in a dark construct. Like, Hasatan was the prince of this construct, influencing all of these nations and other peoples, and unfortunately the wicked Israelites as well. Because there are wicked Yashara'al. Okay? And there has to be there has to be some set apartness. There has to be. Okay, there are many traditions of men, this, not whatever, again, that we've grown up to know and hold my yards, and 9 times out of 10, those traditions are of Hashatan.
Right.
Okay, we are a set apart people. That's what that sanctification means. He set us apart. We're not like, or not supposed to be like everybody else. Point blank in the period. So the Most High chose to sanctify us to establish His righteousness in our ties, in the earth. Okay, let's go to the book of Yeshaya, Isaiah, chapter 42. Book of Isaiah 42. Skip around a little bit. I have it right here. So. Yeshaya or Isaiah, chapter 42. We're going to skip around. We're going to read verse 1. And then I think we're going to hit verses 5 through 7. So again, Most High chose and sanctified us to establish righteousness in the earth. In our Septuagint, it reads, Yaquab, or Jacob, is my servant. I will help him. Yashara'al is my chosen. My soul has accepted him. I have put my spirit upon him. He shall bring forth. So again, see, showing us our purpose, right? I have put my spirit upon him. He shall bring forth judgment to the nations, says Gentiles. We know the nations. He shall bring forth judgment to the nations, right? Because this is what's going to happen. We're going to judge the world or govern the world in righteousness, right? He shall bring forth judgment to the nations. Verse 5. Thus says Yah Elohim, who made the Shemayim, who made the heaven and established it, who settled the Aratas, the earth, and the things in it, and gives breath to the people on it, and spirit to them that tread on it. Verse 6. Yah Elohim has called thee in righteousness, has called you in righteousness, and will hold your hand, and will strengthen you. And I have given you for the covenant, or the sign of a race, for a light of the nations, to open the eyes of the blind. Okay. And you know what? I'm going to say this is not speaking to all of the nations. These Gentiles, what this is speaking to is our people scattered to the nations. This is talking to the north. This is speaking about the northern tribes. So when he says, Yah Elohim have called you in righteousness and will hold your hand and will strengthen you, and I have given you for the covenant, or I've given you for a sign of a race, for a light of the Gentiles. Okay, and listen to what it says. That's how you know. Verse 7: to open the eyes of the blind, to bring the bound and them that sit in darkness out of bonds and the prison house. Okay, verse 7. Who is that?
That's us all day.
That's us all day. So those Gentiles right there is not the rest of the nations. Okay, those Gentiles right there are the Hellenized Israelites that were scattered. I hate to say lost because we're not necessarily lost. We were lost to our heritage, but it's the lost sheep. The northern tribes, because isn't that what took place? When Mashiach came, was on the scene, he sent out the disciples, right? He told them don't go in the way, and that's what that word Gentile. That's why we had Danny do that study on that word Gentile and how they made that up and put that in there to confuse the masses. You see what I'm saying? So you look at that word Gentile. It could read the rest of the nations, but it could also mean our people who were amongst the nations and living as Gentiles. You see what I'm saying? But he's giving you your purpose. Going back to that first verse. Yaqub is my servant. I will help him. Yashara'al my chosen. My soul is accepted. I have put my spirit upon him. He shall bring forth judgment to the nations, to the Gentiles. Okay. Isaiah 43. Isaiah 43. Isaiah 43. Starting at the first verse. And prayerfully, I pray this is helping someone. And again, as we go out, if as the Spirit brings forth, you find comfort in His word. Please share. Please share. Let our people know that you matter. You matter. Of course, we've been on the bottom for so long. You know what I mean? We've been told that we don't matter, that and anything that we do doesn't matter. And I believe that's why still it's in our people's minds to ask what is our purpose. But our purpose is in the Most High. That's why it's beautiful to know who you are, to be in this position, to be awakened, to know who you are, to know that your life has always had purpose. It's always had purpose. Your life has always had meaning. And it rests all up in the Most High. So Isaiah 43, starting at the first verse, out of Septuagint reads, and now, thus says Yah Elohim that made you, O Jacob, and formed you, O Yashara'al. Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by your name. You are mine. Verse 7. Go to verse 7. Even all who are called by my name. Okay, who's called by his name? Yashara'al, all praises. Even all who are called by my name, for I have prepared him for my glory. For those who are called by the Most High's name, he's prepared you for his glory. All right. And I have formed him and have made him. Skip to verse 10. Be you my witnesses. Remember we said Most High chose and sanctified us to establish what? His righteousness in the earth. Verse 10 says, be you my witnesses. Be those witnesses in the earth of the Most High's righteousness. Okay, your purpose. And I too am a witness, saith Yah Elohim, and my servant whom I have chosen, that you may know and believe and understand that I am he. Before me there was no other power, and after me there shall be none. My people whom I have preserved to tell forth my praises. Letting you know your purpose. Again, your purpose is already written out. It's already written out. We don't have to ask. It's here. He's shown it to us. That's why Mashiach said, seek and you shall find. Knock and the door shall be opened unto you. You know what I mean? If you in a place or this now whatever or state of stagnation or whatever, go to the Most High. Most High, quiet my mind. Teach me your way and align my heart with yours. And again, it's like that text says, he will give you perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on him because you trust him. And again, we know that peace doesn't mean that everything is beautiful and everything is okay. No, it's a shalom in the midst of, if there could be chaos all around you, but you are chilling because you know that the Most High's got you. You know that your all and all is in him. He got you. Again, he got you, boo. He got you. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10. Out of the ESV. It reads, "For we are his workmanship, created in Mashiach Yahushai for good works, which the Most High prepared beforehand that we should walk in them." All praises. We are his workmanship, created in Mashiach Yahushai for good works, which the Most High prepared beforehand that we should walk in him. When we see this, honestly, we should be rejoicing that the creator of all things has us, chose us, sanctified us, and gives us a purpose of, being witnesses in the earth to establish his righteousness. Think about, you go back and you think about everything that Yashara'al has put the Most High through. Right? The text tells us, and Ezra tells us, he made the world for our sakes. Think about that. He made the world for our sakes. Right? He gave us everything, put everything before us. He told us in Deuteronomy, I set before you life and death, blessing and cursing, and tell you, choose life so that you and your seed may live. And what is that life? Walking in his law, statutes, and commandments. Get out. You got something? Danny? Oh, I thought he had something. All praises. That's what life is for us. Walking law, statutes, commandments of the Most High. All right? And he told us, choose life so that you and your seed may live. And then we can always go back to, again, our purpose, Deuteronomy chapter 4. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's go to that. I know we read it all the time, but hey, it's relevant. It's relevant for this. Deuteronomy chapter 4.
So much affirmation, man, of the Most High, letting us know I have life more abundant. Where what it say? Where it says life springing up water. It's so much affirmation, man. There's so much confirmation of that. It's amazing.
All praises.
And all them verses to that point that say ye are gods, and I think Psalm 84, Yah crowned us a little lower than the angels. We got a lot of power when we walk with him.
All praises. Again, we don't need any validation from this life. We really don't. The Most High has validated us from the beginning, man. And our purpose is beautiful, man. Our purpose is beautiful, man. To be those living epistles, man. To establish his righteousness on the earth, man. To be able to govern the world, in righteousness, as well as the angels as well. As well as the angels as well. Our role, our vocation is a big one. Is huge. And I believe this is why, Mashiach says when you speak about the signs of the end in Matthew 24 and Luke 21, he that endures to the end, because again, Yashara'al has put the Most High through so much. He needs to know that you are sincerely down for the cause. Right? You are sincerely down for the cause. You ain't just, okie doking around, right? He needs to know that you are that soldier. You are that soldier that you genuine, you real with it. You doing this thing to the very end. Like Most High, I'm with you. I love you. You ain't just blowing smoke. Your words and your actions, your deeds gotta line up. And that's why I said, he that endures to the end the same shall be, and no, it says saved, but the same shall be delivered or saved, right? And we know more than likely that means being passed under the rod successfully. He that endures to the very end. So, there's some things we're going to have to suffer. Again, we're living out the consequences of the sins of our fathers and forefathers. So there's some things we got to suffer through. Again, I always say we are in boot camp. Matter of fact, we are in this is special forces. This is special forces. If you got, when you go to the military, you got boot camp, but then you got special forces, and you got to go through extra with that. So this is what we're doing. And again, just like the text says in Hebrews, Mashiach learned obedience through the things he suffered. So in the midst of our suffering, in the midst of going through things, it's now whatever, are we, sulking and isolating ourselves and sinning with our mouths and saying all types of things, or are we in the midst of crisis and in the midst of all things, are we seeking the Most High for comfort? Are we putting on a garment of praise for that spirit of heaviness? Are we doing those things that would make the Most High smile? Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. If you got something? Danny? I thought he came off the mic again. You saw him?
I didn't see him a second time.
Oh, okay. He came off the mic. Anyway, let's go. Yeah, Deuteronomy 4. Again, more purpose right here. Deuteronomy 4. I'm starting at the first verse. And now, Yashara'al, hear the ordinances and judgments, all that I teach you this day. And again, this is Moses speaking, again, prophesying of the Most High. And now, Yashara'al, hear the ordinances and judgments, all that I teach you this day to do, that what? You may live and be multiplied, and that you may go in and inherit the land which Yah Elohim of your fathers gives you. You shall not add to the word which I command you, and you shall not take from it. Keep the commandments of Yah Elohim, all that I command you this day. Your eyes have, and then I'm going to skip down. Verse 5. Behold, I have shown you ordinances and judgments as Yah commanded me, that you should do so in the land into which you go to inherit it, and you shall keep and do them. Again, for this is your wisdom and understanding before all nations, as many as shall hear all these ordinances. And again, we go through this all the time. We read this scripture a lot because he's telling you right here, and again, in many other places, he's telling you right here what it is he has for you to do, right? And why. Verse 6, and you shall keep and do them, for this is your wisdom and understanding before all nations, as many as shall hear all these ordinances, and they shall say, behold, this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what manner of nation is so great, which has the Most High so near to them, as Yah our power is in all things, in whatsoever we may call upon him? And verse 8, and what manner of nation is so great, which has righteous ordinances and judgments according to all this law, which I set before you this day. Okay? We were always supposed to be the example of righteousness. This is what we were supposed to show the nations. We were always set up to be the example to the rest of the world. And you can see this in life. Okay? Here it is. We're not, for the most part, we haven't been keeping the law, statutes, commandments. We've been showing the world all types of other stuff. But, the world always looks to us for what? Fashion and culture and all this other stuff. People always say, hip hop is black people's culture. No, it is not. It's just something we picked up in this construct. This is our culture. What the Most High has given us, that is our culture. That is our heritage. That is what we were supposed to teach the nations. Hip hop is just something we picked up in this construct, right? But you see how the nations look to every single thing that we do. We are in everybody's lens. Everybody. Why? because it was set up that way. It was set up for us to be the examples to the world. So just think about if we just stayed in our lane and just did what it is what we were supposed to do, how beautiful everything would have been. And it is going to be beautiful, but some people got to be weeded out. It is what it is. Not everybody's for real. Not everybody's going to stay on the wagon. Not everybody's going to endure to the end. Again, the text says, when we come to the wilderness, right? Most High says in Ezekiel 20, right? He says the rebels are going to be purged out. Again, nothing new under the sun. It's going to the same thing from before. Same thing's going to happen again. Rebels are going to be purged out, and that purged out means they're going to die. The rebels will be purged out. Didn't they die back then in the wilderness? Ain't nothing new under the sun. It will be purged out. So there has to be, separating the wheat from the tare, the sheep from the goat. And so we want to be those that endure to the end. We want, again, I always say it, we want to be those that successfully pass under the rod. Right? So again, it's very important for us to not seek any preeminence. It's not seek a seat at the table and this now whatever. We can't do that. I want to read those two scriptures. Matter of fact, I saw was it Danny wrote something in the chat.
Yeah, he's back. He just said he had to drop off. He's back.
Oh, okay. Let's go to those scriptures right there. Not seeking that preeminence, not looking to be seen or looking to be lifted up and exalted, this now whatever. Again, humbling ourselves. You know what I mean? Just it's doing what the Father says to do. Right? No more, no less. It's just doing what the Father says to do. Period. Again, Deuteronomy 8 and in Matthew 4, Mashiach, repeats it. We live by man doesn't live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High shall a man live. That's how we live, by every word that proceeds out of his mouth. We don't have to go above and beyond, to prove I'm so righteous and to prove I'm so holy. Just do what you're supposed to do, man. You know what I'm saying? Again, that's when cats get themselves caught up, man. But Sirach 7. Sirach 7. Sirach 7 and 4. Go 4 to 6, actually. Sirach 7. Ecclesiasticus. Sirach 7, 4 through 6. Let me start at verse. Yeah, thank you. Start at verse 3. It says, "My son, don't sow upon the furrows of unrighteousness, and you won't reap them sevenfold." Verse 4. "Don't seek preeminence from Yah, nor the seat of honor from the king. Don't justify yourself in the presence of Yah, and don't display your wisdom before the king." Verse 6. "Don't seek to be a judge, lest you not be able to take away iniquities, lest perhaps you fear the person of a mighty man and lay a stumbling block in the way of your uprightness." There's a lot to unpack in that joint right there. And then again, in the so-called New Testament, I want to, I don't know if I can't remember if it's James or Peter, but it says, don't seek to be many teachers, right? For theirs is the greater condemnation. Again, there's a lot of people that feel just because you're not saying anything or whatever the case may be, such and such and such, that you're not making an impact or whatever the case may be. Let me tell you something. There's so many times where I'm sorry, I'll get you in a minute. There's so many times I've gone into the store or something like that, or gone somewhere and, not said a word, but just smiled, right? Literally, I kid you not, just smiled, and a person would be like, "Man, you just made my day.
Oh, praises. Wow.
You just made my day." He said, so many people coming here all, mean mugging, and there's so many people that are just mean and don't know how to talk to people, and and I remember this one lady in one of the stores over there in Cary, I think it was a Dollar Tree, I think it was. And she said, your smile honestly just made my day. People come in here all mean, and people don't know how to talk about it. You get all this trouble in the street and in the world and this now whatever, and people don't smile no more, and people, what I mean, she said it's nice to know. These are her words verbatim. She said it's nice to know that there is a light in this world. Those were her words verbatim. Okay, I did not say not one word to this lady. All I did, I came to register with my stuff. I looked at her and I smiled. And she wasn't smiling at all, or this and that, whatever. She just seemed like she had the weight of the world on her shoulders. And I looked at her and I said, and I smiled. I didn't even say, "Ma'am, how you doing?" or anything. I just smiled at her. And she said, "Sir, your smile just made my day." And people X, Y, Z. And she said, it's nice to know that there's a light in the world. And I was like, oh snap, you know what I mean? Right. And I remember I wasn't even feeling that well. Or I wasn't, my normal self or whatever. But it touched me, and it said a lot, man. You know what I mean? It said a lot, But I, just thank the Most High, man. Just thank the Most High to just be able to witness in that way, shape, or form. And again, you don't always have to know that somebody's watching you. I always say that. You don't always have to know that somebody's watching you, or whatever the case may be. But let that light shine. If you're walking in obedience, you're walking according to the Father, just let that light shine. Right? Just let it shine. Because you just never know who's watching you. I always tell the testimony of me back in the day, in my hella days in the whole 9 yards, when I was running in the street and this and that, and there were people, two people really that at the time the Most High was working on them, and this is in Christianity. Most High was working on them, but one of the persons, I knew them, how they were and how and just rough with his speech and his demeanor and this now whatever. And then when he started seeking after the Most High, it was a change, a real change. And I remember just not feeling myself or this now whatever, just in street mode or whatever you want to call it. And I remember hearing him talk, and his speech was different. His demeanor was different. There was such a calm and a peace about him. And I remember just looking at him like, yo, is that the same cat? And I'm like, man, I said, yo, whatever he got, I want it. I remember saying that. Remember, he got what I wanted. I always speak about my wife as well. Same thing. When I was, in the world and doing my thing, this now, whatever, and not being the husband that I should have been at that time, and yet and still she was still showing me love. She was still just just in her in her prayers and in her way, still wanting to pray, still wanting still holding my hand and praying with me and the whole nine, still showing me love, still doing things for me, whole 9 yards. And I'm sitting there, and in my mind I'm sitting there like, yo, like I don't deserve any of this. And I'm telling myself that I don't deserve any of this. But it did something to me. Those two witnesses, it did something to me, man. And it let me know that, there is a real power out there, because, in what I was dealing with and what I was seeing in the streets and what I was seeing out in the world was nothing like what they were showing me. And I wanted it, and I wanted it bad, because I really wanted to get out. And it drew me so much that, eventually I did, just submit all. But I thank the Most High for that, and that's honestly, where we should be, man. But I don't want to prolong the time, man. Just keep going. Oh, James 3. Oh, that's what that scripture was.
So, where was it? Danny had something you said?
No, he had. He was just saying he was back. James 3:1. That's what that scripture was, right? James 3:1. 3:1. Yes. Yeah. Not many of you should become teachers, my brothers, for you know that we who teach will be judged with greater strictness. Exactly. Because again, a lot of people feel because if they're not speaking or they're not forefront or whatever the case may be, that they're not doing anything. No, no. I mean, what's that text in the Mashiach spoke about? You know what I mean? When I was hungry, you gave me, food to eat. When I was, thirsty, you gave me drink. And disciples asked me, "What? When did we do these things?" And he said, "If you've done it to the least of my brethren, you've done it unto me." And the text says, they will know that we are his disciples by the love we have for one another. That is a witness. The love we have for one another. You know what I mean? That is a witness. That in and of itself is a witness. That in and of itself shows, the purpose that the Most High has for us in this earth. Again, we are to establish his righteousness in the earth. Luke 14, 7 through 11. I think that's what I was talking about. Luke 14, 7 through 11. We're almost done. Yes, it goes along with that, that preeminence and looking for a seat at the table all the time. Luke 14, 7 through 11. And it reads, "Now he told a parable to those who were invited when he noticed how they chose the places of honor, saying to them, when you are invited by someone to a wedding feast, do not sit down in a place of honor, lest someone more distinguished than you be invited by him, and he who invited you both will come and say to you, give your place to this person, and then you will begin with shame to take the lowest place." Verse 10, "But when you are invited, go and sit in the lowest place, so that when your host comes, he may say to you, friend, move up higher. Then you will be honored in the presence of all who sit at table with you. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted." Again, we don't have to look for a foothold in this life. We don't. We don't need validation in this life. We don't. The Most High has validated us already as individuals, as a nation. He's already done it. He's already done it. Trying to navigate your way in this construct for us. I know what the world tells you, to have a plan and this and that, whatever. And, again, I'm not knocking anybody. This now, whatever, some people have done it right, and this, what I'm saying, you go to school, you get an education, get a good job, the online yards, providing for your family, which is a beautiful thing, because at the end of the day, we have to survive with this construct, right? So, if you got to set yourself up to survive this construct, hey, by all means. However, don't, again, find your identity in those things. Don't find your identity in how much money you have, or in a diploma or whatever the case may be, because that is not your identity. Our identity has been given to us. Our purpose has been given to us by the Most High, right? Our identity has been given to us by the Most High. So,
yep. Seek first the Most High and all his righteousness, and all else will be added unto you.
Con. And what are those things? And then what are those things that will be added? He said he will supply all of your what? Needs.
Yeah, your needs.
Not your wants. Right? Because we be wanting a whole lot. All right? And then a lot of those wants will cause us to go away from the Most High, right? There's a text that says, the blessing of the Most High makes rich, but he adds no sorrow to it. Blessing of the Most High makes rich, he adds no sorrow to it. Right? And then, again, it says he'll add things unto you. It didn't say like a blessing. So, a lot of people think, a car or a house or all these things, money and this now is a blessing. No. Okay? They would say, oh, I'm blessed and highly favored and all this other stuff, such and such and such. Okay? But if you read Psalm 1, and that's just one place. You read Psalm 1, it says, blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the law, or his delight is in the instruction of the Most High. And in that instruction will he meditate day and night. That's a man who is, what they say, the Hebraically is a shar, or happy, or the text says blessed. That man who meditates in the ways of the Most High, who finds his purpose and his everything in the Most High. That man is what the text called blessed, or ashar, happy. So
And that's the man kept at perfect peace because his mind is stayed on y'all.
there it is, that perfect shalom, perfect shalom. That's what we should get to. Now, again, I will be the first to say, is it easy? Heck no. It is not easy. But because the Most High says that we can do it, it is definitely doable, right? With man, it is impossible. But with the Most High, all things are possible. So it is possible for us to endure, to endure, to endure to the very end. We just got to be those soldiers, man. Got to gird up the loins of our mind, and say, and again, who are you trying to please? Are you trying to please yourself? Are you trying to please your neighbor? Are you trying to please your family member? Or are you trying to please Yah? We want to make Yah smile. That's my prayer every day. I pray that, the things that we do today, are led of you, and that we do not cause our own foot to slip, and that everything that we do, is pleasing in your sight. That's what we need to be at, family. All praise. So again, if this resonates, I pray that the spirit is moving, and it resonates. Please share this with those who still trying to find purpose. Let them know. And again, we talking about Yashara'al. Let them know your purpose is in the Most High. He's already given you your purpose. He's already given it to you. All praises.
All praise.
All praises, family. So that's all I got. If are there any, questions, comments, concerns, words of edification? Anybody got anything?
I want to share
No,
something real
Myron,
quick,
good
man.
study, man. Appreciate your time, man.
All praises, man. Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate you, man. You got
Nah,
it.
Yeah,
I
that
was
was
gonna say,
awesome.
All praises to the Most High. All praises.
yeah, now I met some years back. I subconsciously was searching for that genuine love in the Most High. Because where I was going, I didn't experience it. You know what I mean? It's a lot of it's like a lot of show and tells, a lot of exaggerating, a lot of people trying to be seen. It wasn't genuine, it wasn't real. But what I tell you, I kid you not, when I met these cats, I met Myron, Marsh, a few others, I felt immediately something I never experienced ever in my life. I felt a genuine love of the Most High. No reason Christendom, but I felt that joint, and it drew me nigh. And I was kind of back and forth. Should I go keep fellowship with these cats in the Bronx, or should I come to this fellowship? And me, they say, yo, prayed about it. It was instantaneous. Like, yeah, nah, I'm rocking out with y'all, man. I can't, that back then, while I was fellowshipping, 9 yards, there was no love there. There's a lot of hypocrisy. So, like you said, we spirit first, so we have eyes to see and to discern. Me and I had no full understanding at that time where you were at, but we spirit first. So that being that, I seen the love of the Most High, and it drew me in. So it's all praises for that, for giving the eyes to see these things. All praises.
All praises to the great I am, man. All praises to the Father. Just want to be where He is, man, and just want to align ourselves with Him. And so, all praises. And same with you, man. A man been rocking out with us for a minute, for a while, and and I just love the family. I just love the family of the Most High. I just want to see us, all grow together. All praises. Thomas, you got something?
It's actually me, Jennifer.
Hey,
I'm here.
sis.
Hey,
I know. You know what? I need to. That's what I need to say. Whenever you come on, John, I need to say, Thomas or Jennifer. Do y'all have anything?
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to second what the brother said there about you guys just being so genuine. We felt the same way as we were when we met you guys, you and Marsha and the family. We were just so impressed with your genuineness and your love and your kindness and just good people. Like you just had that squeak, that that clean, good squeak of a good people, and you
Praises.
made it easier for us to really receive the truth. And I also wanted to tell you that this lesson was so on point, such a blessing to me personally, because when I came out of church, that was one of my biggest um hang-ups. That was one of my biggest disappointments because I had, drank the Kool-Aid thinking we all have these grand individual purposes. And, I thought my purpose was to be a pastor, not so much the title, but what that office does for people, pray for people, pour into them, direct them. And I felt lost when I came out of church. I was like, so what do I do? And now
Mm,
I mean, what's my purpose? What's my new purpose? And that was
mm,
really depressing for me for a long time, like a long time, just feeling purposeless. But the more I learned, the more I saw what our genuine purpose was. And really, initially, it was just to learn. It was
mm,
learn to unlearn church and religion and Christianity, and to learn the truth, and to walk in spirit and truth. And but you really, the Most High blessed you today to
all
hit the
praises.
nail on the head for me, because
Thank
that
you.
was the missing piece. And I mean, he's shown me that in a roundabout way, but you put it in words today, and I just want to say all praises to the Most High for this lesson, because it's a blessing.
All praises to our sis. Appreciate you. All praises to the great I am. Again, for his Rawak, his spirit, and all that he does for us. Again, just want to be vessels meet for his use. All praises. All praises. And that family. Anybody, if there's anybody else. And again, I love each and every one of y'all. I always say I glean and learn from each and every one of y'all, man. And I love our peoples. I love our fellowship. Um, and I love how we can just come together and and rapid taste, just conversate and discuss and speak on things. Again, I'm not saying I got it all together, but one thing I will say is, I'm meditating in this book. I'm trying to, align my heart and ear to hear from the Most High what it is He has for us, what it is He has for His people. And again, just like I said, before I can even speak anything, the Most High first deals with me. He first deals with me. I just thank the Most High for all things and where we are at this point. And I pray that we can just continue to grow together, my Shabbat. All praises. So if there's nothing else. Uh, Jen, you think you can close us out real quick?
Sure, no problem.
All praise, all praise. All right, we turn our hearts, minds, and our bodies to face the land to the east. All praises. Whenever you're ready,
Abiyah.
sis.
Okay. Abiyah, we just thank you so much. We say Sawada. We say Toda Rabba. Abba, we are so grateful for how you just shine your light on us, how you just speak through our brother Myron, and deliver us the spiritual food that we need, Abba. We are so grateful for your word. We're grateful that we are your children, that you chose us before the foundations of the earth, Abba, that you knit us together in our mother's womb. Abba, you are amazing. You are the most high. Abba, you are the Almighty, and we just praise you. We honor you. We magnify you. We make you bigger than everything and anything in our lives. You're all that matters. We thank you for your law, statutes, and commandments, Father, that you've given us to follow and obey. Thank you for unveiling your mysteries to us, Abba, for lifting the veil and bringing us out of Christendom, out of the world, into your marvelous light. We just praise you and honor you today. We thank you for each and every person that's on this call and all the ones that couldn't make it. We ask that you bless the Cheese household and every other household in our Mashapash, Father. We just love you and we honor you. And we say, Halawiyah, Halawiyah, Aman.
Oh yeah, man. All praises, all praises.
Wow.
Thank you for that, sis. All praises. Oh, before I get off, also again, we have our West Coast brethren over there in Vegas. They have their study today as well. I think Chris did put it in the chat, and also in this season, right? I know for us, we say Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year, the beginning of the year, the season. We're in that season of Pesach. So we're in that season of Pesach, you know what I mean? A lot of us getting ready to, remove leaven from our homes, but more importantly, remove the leaven from our lives, right? So just wanted to put that out there. So again, family, enjoy your day. Love y'all. Until next time, Most High willing. Shalom, shalom. Love y'all.